What is happening, people? Welcome back to the Pole Position Pod. It is finally here. We've finally back. Formula One is finally back on the channel after a month of you know what happened. Basically, I'm not gonna get into that too much. You know what happened. Formula One has been cancelled for a whole month, but we're back racing. It's in stateside. It's in Miami. Florida, sunny Florida, as as you would uh, as you would expect. But I've got Augustia, of course, the main man himself, back live on the channel for the Miami Sprint race preview. We're gonna do the race preview tomorrow as well. Race preview will be around, I think, tomorrow after the United Liverpool game. Actually, I think tomorrow after the United Liverpool game, we're gonna go live for the race preview.
Can do.
But anyways, guys, you already know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. 5 more subs to go, guys. 5 more. Come on, if you're new around here and you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It's important you do so, and hit the like button. It's free. It's free to do so. Support the channel. Helps out with the algorithm of the channel. Turn your post notification bell so you don't miss an upload and you don't miss a live and you don't miss all that good stuff. All the Formula One content that we're going to bring out for you guys in the foreseeable future, because it is back. We're back racing in stateside in Miami. Gustia, what is going on, bro? Hope you're doing good. I'm doing great. I'm doing good. But anyways, what's up? What's happening?
Yeah, it was good. Great to be back. Ekevin, I hear some echo, by the way. Don't wanna break the. Wait, can you unmute 1 second, real quick? I think it's gone. It's gone now. That's good. Look, it's been a fun month. We've got zero Formula One action whatsoever. I feel like I forgot the season was going on. Ekevin, I don't know about you, but both of us, we have to be honest here. We ended up, of course, catching back, looking at the highlights, analyzing what's going on. So you'll get the same coverage as we normally do, the same humorous coverage. We both missed it. We both missed the sprint session. I completely forgot the sprint was going on. Of course, obviously, Ekman covers a million different sports. We both watch about 1 trillion different sports, but we just missed it. So it's fun to be back, but I think the bigger shock when you talk about on-the-track affairs, McLaren, I don't want to swear, but what the fuck? Guys, it's race number 4.
Don't apologize.
And they're already back on the top of the timesheets. What was supposed to be a simple and a swift championship for George Russell, he had a rocket ship on steroids. He had the most dominant engine perhaps in Formula One history. The advantage of the car, by every metric, at every circuit, was supposed to be unstoppable. Yet race number 4, Mercedes don't seem optimized, and also their pace, given the regulation change that will be enacted in Monaco, seems to be on the decline, whereas McLaren, with the same PU, by the way, seem to understand the car much better. Lando Norris, who was getting dunked on and nuked onto his teammate Oscar Piastri in the previous 3 races, has somehow rejuvenated himself, found his championship-winning level, and is back on the top of the timesheet. So, Ekevin, I don't know about you, I think we've had a major shakeup to the timetable. Because before the break, remember I said one thing? I said McLaren had overtaken Ferrari as the second-best team. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe they haven't just done that. Maybe they are on par with Mercedes here.
No, I completely hear you. I think McLaren have finally found their form, and I think McLaren are on their way back to where they should be. Defending champions, drivers champions, back-to-back defending constructors champions. So, yeah, I mean, they've got the same engine pretty much almost. It's a Mercedes package. It doesn't make sense for them to be worse than the main car, Mercedes. It doesn't make sense. If you've got the same engine, same package, the same manufacturer, then you shouldn't be as bad, or you shouldn't be worse than them. It should be just on par with them. So yeah, all I can say is fair enough to McLaren, fair enough to what they've done, fair enough to the team. And I also just want to quickly apologize, people, because we were supposed to do Formula One content during the races, cancelled races weekends, but we decided we were a bit busy with other things going on in our lives. We had other stuff to deal with, so I decided we might as well just talk about everything else today in the sprint preview itself. Make it a longer show, make it a show that we can we can welcome back Formula One in a way, back to the channel, back to racing we go. But yeah, man, like you said, McLaren on par with Mercedes. That's what I put in the title. McLaren on par with Mercedes? Question mark. And you've answered the question pretty much. They are. Slowly but surely they are. Russell's slowly. You see the deficiency in Russell's car, isn't he? He's slowly starting to. His car is starting to degrade. I don't know for what reason. I don't know what's going on with Russell. The last few races he's looked a little bit off the pace. He's looked a bit off the charts. Whereas with Verstappen leapfrogged him today. Max Verstappen, the guy who has been complaining on the radio constantly about how awful his car is, how awful Red Bull have been, has leapfrogged George Russell. And George Russell, the same man that has been talking that other people shouldn't complain. I'm expecting some complaints from the guy in the next 2 weeks. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Yeah. I'm expecting some complaints. I'm expecting something, but Kimi Antonelli is the man to talk about right now. I mean, he's literally taken Mercedes. Well, he's not taking Mercedes. He is Mr. Mercedes right now. He's literally won the last 2 races, the youngest driver to do back-to-back races ever in the history of Formula One, and he's putting Mercedes on his back, pretty much. He's pretty much putting Mercedes on his back. George Russell obviously won the first race, but Kimi Antonelli is officially there. And then Lando Norris is also on his way up. Lando Norris, the guy who's defending his crown, is climbing back up the charts. He's back up the charts. He's slowly but surely, like I said, getting back to where he needs to be. But onto the sprint race. For some of the drivers you mentioned, obviously you mentioned Lando Norris. You mentioned McLaren.
Yep.
Outside of the Mercedes engine, what's been the deciding factor? Have teams made significant upgrades? Have they made significant moves? Have they improved their car? Have they been testing it properly during the break? Because they had a sprint test in Miami last week, I think. I think they had a test in Miami last week. What do you think is the reason outside the Mercedes package? Why are McLaren finding their feet again? And what's not stopping them? If you know what I mean.
Yeah, what is the catalyst? What is the reason? What is the flavor, the flower, the source of McLaren's rejuvenation back to the top of the time sheets? Kevin, you're right. The fact of the matter is, coming into this weekend, it wasn't McLaren. It was Ferrari who led the upgrading leaderboards. Ferrari made, I think, a total of 11 upgrades. So
11.
all the anticipation, all the expectation coming into this weekend in the entire grid was that Ferrari would be close to Mercedes. Ferrari this weekend would be the competitive team. Lewis Hamilton said he didn't even treat. Yeah, and Lewis Hamilton said he didn't even treat this as a summer break. He treated this as a time to work, to double down, to put his head down, lock in, focus, be aligned, be balanced, have a beautiful car that can compete. Instead, McLaren, from being a deficit of 0.8, almost a second. Now, normal deficits in Formula One are a couple tenths at maximum, maybe even hundreds. McLaren were 0.8, 800%, almost 800% slower than they usually were last season, which was the top, of course, to being on pole again in a matter of 5 races. That is an astonishing turnaround. But McLaren did bring some large upgrades. And instead of bringing broad upgrades, they brought specific upgrades that would optimize their car. So we know McLaren have the engine of Mercedes, the superior Mercedes power unit, but they struggled to optimize it in those first few races. And the Mario Kart style of racing, the new regulations, drivers like Lando Norris were just foreign. They didn't feel accustomed or acclimated to it. So what did McLaren do? They basically revitalized their aero. They started off with the distinctive aero package. They revitalized it again. They bought some new furniture, some cooling louvre. They redesigned the side pod as well, some revised rear corner furniture, and an updated rear wing. So they basically are reading what the FIA posted about them. Unlike their championship rivals, Mercedes, who bought small upgrades, Ferrari, who targeted different aspects of the car. McLaren really targeted their flaws. They were specific, they were decisive, they were precise. The aero, the rear wing, the side pod. They stuck to the parts that they can do best. They optimized their car, and for that reason, on pure pace, they are able to compete not just in the race but on quality as well. So after that, McLaren haven't just ascended up to first. This has been coming for a while. And if you look at the last 5 races, Ekavin, the season started, McLaren were the worst team in the paddock. They couldn't get either car out. Race 2, race 3, Oscar Piastri was flourishing. Lando Norris wasn't there. But they were finally rising to becoming a podium team. Today, race 4, much sooner than we all expected, which was the summer, by the way, McLaren are back on top. And that is the story of how McLaren went from hero to zero, back to hero. And we will see, I think, the sprint race. Like I spoke to a very smart man who I'm hoping comes to the chat very, very soon, Mr. Tifosi, our legendary Formula One superfan. It's one thing to be fast in quali. It's another thing to be fast race pace. Does McLaren have the wherewithal to last throughout the race? I'm not sure, Ekavin.
Mm. You mentioned Ferrari's upgrades. You mentioned that they made those upgrades, but they haven't improved it as well. Once the season started, you saw that Ferrari were the closest car to Mercedes, weren't they? They were the closest competitors to Mercedes. It was a toss up between Leclerc and Hamilton, who was the faster on the weekends. I think in China you could probably say Hamilton was probably the faster driver. In Japan, Leclerc was probably the faster driver. Like it's a complete flip. This obviously Leclerc has been the faster driver so far. From what we've seen, Leclerc has been the faster driver so far. In your opinion, do you see Ferrari turning this around? Do you see Ferrari turning the season around again, back to the competitive Ferrari that we thought that we see? Because I was optimistic. You know me, I was optimistic about Ferrari. I said, bro, this is a good sort of way to give. Not give. This is a good sort of way to talk about how Ferrari are doing so far. Like actually not winning the races, but being competitive, being right there, challenging Mercedes on the front row. Trying to overtake them. With the battery pack and all that stuff. But what's been the reason Ferrari have just not clicked in the last 2 weeks? Like, how have McLaren just leapfrogged them all of a sudden? And then, do you see Ferrari turning this around? Because they should. If not, then the product has failed. The project has failed with Lewis Hamilton, slowly but surely.
Yeah, it's really interesting because, as we talked about, if you would have thought it, if you had to pick any team that would make the biggest gains this week, it'd be Ferrari, right? And coming into the season, Ekavin, we all said 2026 was make or break, right? Fred Vasseur scrapped 2025. 2025, Ferrari had the car fast enough. I know our panelists previously disagreed with us. You and I were in the same boat. Why did Fred Vasseur have to throw the white flag in, scrap a season where Ferrari could have 100% won the championship to prioritize the new regulations? That was a toss-up. It doesn't make sense from a probability standpoint. But then they did. 2026, we thought they would have the fastest car. Then the whole Mercedes engine dilemma happened. Then, okay, Ferrari with the second fastest car. It was like they made a car good enough. They just weren't as smart as Mercedes. But this weekend was supposed to be where they made that step up. Mercedes were on the decline. Ferrari were on the increase. Why didn't they make that step up? The truth is, Ekavin, same as what you're saying, I'm saying, Lewis Hamilton agreed with us. He doesn't know. We don't actually know all the data because there was only one free practice session and a sprint qualifying where you really don't get to test the mechanics of the car, the nuts and bolts of it. We don't actually know. The logical reason would be, hey, McLaren, their upgrades were more specific. Ferrari upgraded the entire car effectively, right? 11 upgrades is no joke. So it takes time to assimilate. It takes time for all the parts to come together. It's like building a new car in a sense. Whereas McLaren were so specific. What were their flaws? How can we fix them? So I think for Ferrari, I don't want to sound like Arteta. I don't want to sound like Arsene Wenger and say, trust the project. I don't want to be like the 76ers, trust the project. But Ferrari, I would say, wait, let's see what happens in the sprint today. Because remember, they're still the fastest out of the race starts, right? They do have somewhat decent race pace. They can manage their battery well as well. What happens this week in Miami? What happens the following race as well? That's what I would say. But yes, the biggest reason, Ekavin, McLaren were focused. Ferrari were more broad with their development.
Yeah. No, you're right, and obviously Ferrari with the fastest cars in free practice. You could see Leclerc got the fastest car in free practice. You could see that the testing was that obviously he got the fastest time, but ever since that, something just didn't click. Something just went wrong. Something just was not right, and making 11 upgrades, like you mentioned, is no joke. And throwing in the white towel last season costed Ferrari, because had they at least shown a bit of progress last season and actually fought for the title, look at McLaren. They've adapted so well from last season to this season. The defending champions have adapted so well. So why can't Ferrari do the same? You improve. You keep the same package as last season, but make it slightly better. Last season was the time to work on your package, building your package, and then moving into this season. I don't care about regulation change. I don't care about engine change. I don't care about V10, V whatever the fuck it is. I don't care about that. You're supposed to be competitive year in, year out. It's been way too many years Ferrari have not won a title, have not competed for a title. Yeah. It's just been a joke. It's been a shit show over there. And this weekend I expect more of the same. I don't think Ferrari are going to compete. I don't think Ferrari are going to finish in the top in the podiums this week. I think we could maybe see a Verstappen leapfrog of Ferrari very, very soon. I think Verstappen said he's had enough. Let's improve the car in the break, and let's finish above Ferrari. Ferrari are one of the easiest cars. I told you last season, Augustia. I said Ferrari were going to finish 5th this year. Might be looking like it. Might be.
Who would be 4th then? I mean, we know Mercedes and McLaren for sure, but we don't even have a definitive 4th place team.
Red Bull will overtake Ferrari.
There would still need to be one team that replaces Ferrari, and I don't think any of the teams below them have the manpower, machinery, mind, or money to do that.
Alpine?
With the Mercedes PU?
Alpine have been, yeah.
But do they have the drivers? I think Hamilton and Leclerc in a slightly inferior car, even just 1 or 2 tenths worse than Alpine. And that's not even the case at the moment. Ferrari are still double the fastest.
All right, 4th best. But then again, I'm so close to where I said it was. Yeah, so I just knew that they weren't going to make the upgrades. If Ferrari did not make any changes going to next week, make more changes going to when is the next race? Next weekend? Is it next weekend already? Is it back?
I will check and let you know in about 10 seconds time.
Yeah, no worries. Take your time.
No, we have a 3-week break. We have a 3-week break.
3-week break again?
The next race is the last weekend of May.
Another 3-week break?
May 25th.
Wow.
This is
the weirdest shit I've ever seen, bro. We're having 2 3-week breaks in a row. And then we go back to racing and then 3 weeks again, there's no race. This is a joke.
Heck, even we were off for a month and a half. Now we're going to be off for 3 weeks. And then...
Not even a month and a half. We've been off for a month. Well, I'd say less than a month, but we've been off for some time.
Yeah, but what's worse is after that, we're going to have another week break. It's not even a double header or a triple header. It's basically in the next month and a half, Ekavin, in the last 2 months and a half, if you count the whole of April until mid-June, we'll only have 3 races. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, look, I agree with you and I hear you for sure, 100%. I just personally think that, it's become a little bit of a weird sort of scheduling. I'm not going to lie to you, because I know we can't backtrack now, but the situation in Bahrain and Saudi hasn't improved, because we could be back racing in Saudi and Bahrain literally in these 3 weeks that we're off.
Yeah.
I know it takes a long time to prepare for race weekends and whatnot, but they're already preparing before all the shit happened. You know what I mean? They were already preparing before all the shit that happened. So, no, look, like I said, we can't backtrack now. We can't go back to, you know, behind schedule. But
Can can I answer
but
your question quick?
the start of next season, they're doing Bahrain and Saudi the first two races. They're moving Australia to number 3, confirmed already.
Yeah, can I
They're
answer
moving.
your question quick? And that's a
Sorry,
big
go ahead.
update. Yeah, to,
Yeah.
to answer the question of why can't they just have the Bahrain Grand Prix, the yes, you're right. Tensions in the Middle East about the Iran war specifically have cooled down a bit, but it's still very fragile. The war is not over; it's a temporary ceasefire. So, Formula One don't want to take the risk. Secondly, Saudi Arabia is a street circuit. So, with the street circuit, what that means is they have to basically block out roads, bare roads, especially in the bulk of the city. That takes a lot of logistical work. So if it gets canceled one weekend, you'll need at least a couple months before you can even think about implementing the idea. Then bring back sponsorships, celebrities, the whole lot is just a logistical mess.
Next.
The only one that probably could have happened is the Bahrain Grand Prix, because that's a
Hmm.
circuit, of course. But that depends on scheduling, and you're right. I think realistically, Bahrain probably could have happened, and they seem less affected than Saudi Arabia might have been in a potential Iran war. But you're right, Ekevin. I just think they should have replaced it with a Germany, a Turkey, a Portugal.
Turkey is back next year. I was just gonna say they're back
Yeah,
next year.
and and, and none of those countries are at risk at the moment. The war is not escalating to Europe at
No,
all.
no,
So
not at risk.
I don't know why Formula One didn't want to do that, which is
But then
funny
they
because they're so money hungry as it is.
wanted to go back to Adelaide. No, I swear they wanted to bring Adelaide back or something. They wanted to bring back Australia for the second time this year. They wanted to bring Adelaide in or something, and I was thinking, why not they just replace it with Adelaide or something? You know, decent track. You know, we could use a street circuit or something. I don't know. We could use a street
Yeah,
circuit. That'd be nice.
the, these gaps for Formula One, I have to say, are hurting the product. I understand the safety with the Middle East conflict, but
Of
Ekevin,
course.
it feels like a new season. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like we're watching the same season anymore. When we quit, Mercedes were in a league of their own. Now because there
Augusta,
was
that this is a race weekend, bro. It doesn't even feel like a race weekend
yeah,
to me.
yeah, because
The hype is there. The hype's died down so much because Formula One's been off for weeks. You know what I mean?
yeah, and unlike what you proposed, you suggested something so genius that I hoped that the FIA would take. I thought that Mohammed bin Salman and that's the Saudi Arabian
Yeah, of
crown
course.
prince.
It's fine. It's fine.
But
It's fine.
the FIA head and Stefano Domenicali, I don't want to butcher his name. I hope that they listen to AN Sports because you proposed something ingenious. What Ekevin said is over the break they should get all the team principals, they should get all the drivers, sit in a room to talk about the new regulations, discuss what should be kept, what shouldn't be kept. Am I correct in saying that you proposed that idea, Ekevin?
I propose the idea of why not just replace the two races that were canceled with two more races that
No,
are
not yes. That was a great idea. I agree with you. If logistically it works, the
you're
second
lagging.
idea that you said, the second idea.
Your screen is lagging
Am I back? Am I better?
slightly. Yeah, yeah. I think you're fine. I think you're fine.
Cool.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Appreciate it. The second idea that you proposed that I really loved and was unique, I didn't hear it anywhere. No pundit, no person, no driver mentioned it. The FIA during the break should have brought all the team principals and all the drivers together in one room to discuss the new regulations. What all the drivers like, what is too dangerous, what is unambiguously allowed, and what isn't allowed. You proposed that idea, right, Akavin?
Yeah.
So they should have done that, but they didn't. And this weekend, I promise, because McLaren have prioritized extracting that manual override button, they've tried to hash out the game better. Ferrari have worked on specific parts with their floor. Mercedes have sat still. Red Bull dealing with the cooling. There's going to be some funky business going on. Teams aren't going to be on the same page. There's going to be way more controversy when it comes to overtaking as well. That if they took Ekavin's idea, wouldn't have happened.
I hear you. Yeah, but let's talk quickly about let's talk about what we've learned so far in 2026, because we were supposed to do a show mid-season regarding not mid-season, during the break, because there was no race weekends. We decided we are going to do shows during those 2 weeks, right? During the Bahrain Grand Prix and the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. We were supposed to do we were supposed to do shows in those 2 weeks. However, I decided let's just do it during this week. So I was gonna ask I was gonna title that what we've learned so far in 2026 in the Formula One season. What have you observed, and what's been the biggest issue, and what can be resolved so far? Because I'm sure there's been a lot of issues. Drivers been complaining. Regulations not on point.
Yeah.
You know, the what's it called again? The engines, the
Mario Kart.
you know what I mean. Like the people have
Yeah.
been saying it's like Mario Kart kind of. So yeah, talk to me, Augustia. What have you so far observed in this year alone, and what do you think can be changed if it's making a negative impact on Formula One? Because a lot of people have been complaining about this as well, especially drivers, especially teams. Obviously George Russell said, don't complain about it, but now he's the way he finished last night. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
what's yours? Or is you?
Yeah, I agree with you, Akavin. I think the solution would have been the antidote, what you did, what you suggested. Literally get everyone in the same room, talk about it, figure out what the biggest problems are, and solve it from there. The biggest problem in Formula One is there's so much ambiguity. We don't know what the full objectives and intentions are of the FIA, nor do we know of the team principals. Look at the whole Mercedes engine debacle. The rules were so ambiguous that Mercedes could get away, and rightfully so. I do agree with Total Wolf. They didn't break a law; they just bypassed the regulation that they could have an engine that had a higher engine compression than everybody else. That's the thing. There are too many instances of can you do this, can you not do this? There are too many gray areas with FIA. I think you need to fix that first of all. It's not about the personnel. You can fix the person, you can change the costume, but the same cause, the same problem will still be there. Secondly, the other problem, Ekavin, is for us fans, you and I love racing. Like we love watching racing, right? We're not Formula One drivers though, so we're not in those cars. And to get the best racing, your drivers have to be the best in the world. They have to have a winning mentality, but also they have to enjoy what they're doing. Because Ekavin, if you don't enjoy whatever you're doing in life, whether it's hanging out with friends, whether it's making a YouTube channel or watching a sport, if you don't enjoy it, Ekavin, will you have fun? Will you want to commit full effort to it? No, right? Humans aren't hardwired like that. We don't operate like that. So when your best driver, Max Verstappen, when every single driver on the grid except George Russell, now George Russell may be blowing this trumpet, when everyone is saying the new regulations, well, of course we're getting more overtakes. If they are too arcade-esque, if they're too Nihonjin, if they're too Japanese, if they're too Mario Kart style, blue shell, red mushroom, that isn't the best for the product. We aren't maximizing its output or optimizing how good Formula One can be. So I think he had to get everyone, he as in Stefano Domenicali, had to get everyone in the same room, talk to them. Is there a way we can prioritize still wheel-to-wheel racing while being safe and drivers feeling like it's on skill, on merit, not just, hey, let the manual button decide, am I faster than you, or are you faster than me? We need to find a middle ground. Like, I mean, I think the biggest problem is two things. Rules need to be more clear. We need to
Yeah,
find a middle ground that is safe, that prioritizes driver skill, and also sustains wheel to wheel action. At the
yeah,
moment, not safe, not prioritizing driver skill, getting wheel to wheel action. Good for commercial, but we need commercial and competitiveness to be aligned. That's the
yeah.
biggest problem in Formula One today, in my opinion.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, look, the hype around it I mentioned is not has not been there this week. There's the commercial presentation has not been on point this season so far. Like the season's just started, but if you want to make people watch Formula One, you have to have a better commercial viewership. People need to tune in to this stuff. So how are they gonna tune in? Advertise it in a good way.
True.
It's been a really poor advertisement so far this season. Let's be honest, Augustia. You hear so much media coverage around, cars that are drivers that are complaining about regulations, rules, teams that are not happy with this and that and the other. So how's that a good advertisement for the Formula One for the Formula One committee? How is that a good advertisement? You're literally downplaying your product. You're downplaying your product, and what's that going to result in? A decline in your revenue, a huge decline in your Formula One revenue. Soon, broadcasters are just going to be like, "What a waste of time this is. We're going to broadcast something else." For years, Augustia, we've had Formula One broadcasting in Thailand, have we?
Mm-hmm.
we've never ever had a year of it going away. It could be broadcasted somewhere else if Formula One's not careful with broadcasting, with advertising. This is really poor advertising, in my opinion. And if they have to make the changes necessary for people to enjoy, then do it. But do it in a safe way. Do it in a way where it's safe for everyone, safe for both parties, safe for us and safe for the drivers. Because drivers, their safety comes first because they're the ones entertaining us, are they? We're the ones watching them race every single week when they are on track. And if they're not on track, what coverage is there for Formula One? What are we supposed to see? What coverage are we supposed to see? You know? There's no Formula One event. There's no Formula One, entertainment during the off weeks. And we're just watching, just plain just nothing, to be honest with you. There's just nothing around it. Your screen's lagging a little bit still.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'll fix my lag. You can keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. No. It's all good. It's all good. Shit happens. I'll check. Actually, do you know what, real quick? I'll check on YouTube if you're lagging. If you're not lagging on YouTube, don't worry about it. I'll just check on YouTube if you're lagging. Just
Cool.
1 second.
But yeah, while you check, I agree with you, Ekevin. Commercialization, marketing, packaging, branding, that is absolutely vital. That is key to Formula One's growth and exposure. And if you don't market the product effectively, if you let the negativity drown out the positivity, that's a problem. That's a big concern. And I'm not saying you should go full on dictator mode. I'm not saying Stefano Domenicali should be like, hey, Formula One drivers cannot express their opinion. That's also a problem. I'm saying everyone should be in harmony and alignment. The criticisms we should have should be for the sake of the sport, the growth of the sport. We're good?
Yeah, you're good.
Sorry, keep going. I don't interrupt you.
No. Please continue.
I was going to say, I agree with you. And the branding, it needs to be targeted towards everyone everywhere, right? Formula One needs to find a pathway for people that aren't as wealthy, people in lower economic zones in Asia, not just to watch Formula One, to get into Formula One, right? Like Formula One's a very high-class sport, and I understand it's very expensive. So quid pro quo, you can't just hand out opportunities to everyone without making money back.
Yeah, of course.
But at the same time, if you market yourself effectively, if you get enough sponsors as well, and you prioritize people over profit, you can actually inadvertently make more profit as well. But secondly, Ekevin, I think, go on.
No. Finish.
And secondly, the other thing is the converse. You have to. I think you have to talk to your drivers very often. I think every few weeks they should have a meeting again. The drivers, the team principals, talk about what are some things they like, what are some things they don't like, and figure a middle ground out. This can't be a private panel of experts deciding, is this good, is this bad? I think these are big problems. You need to have more transparency.
100%, bro. And you can see why drivers are upset. It's because there's no real freedom of speech.
Yeah.
If you say something, you might get charged, or you might get penalized, or you might say, or it might cross the line. It might be like, this driver said this. We might need to look into what he's doing behind the scenes and whatnot. There's no real relationship between the drivers and the FIA. Let's be real. The FIA, I've lost faith in them a long time ago. A very long time ago. Even if they've made changes to the boardroom and to the principals, I've lost faith in them a long time ago. I don't trust them to make it a safe race. We saw it in Qatar 2 years ago, Gustia. In 2020, was it 2025 last year, Qatar, Lusail? There was debris on the track, and they did nothing about it for the safety of the drivers. They did nothing about it. So how am I supposed to trust them to make it a safe and fun race? Look, what I will say is I will praise them. I'll praise them one thing. The hospitality around Formula One is quality. It's quality. The paddock, the events on the race weekend is quality. What about on the off weeks when there's no racing? How are the fans supposed to connect with their favorite drivers? Yes, you have George Russell going out on tour. Yes, you have what's his name, Alex Albon coming to Thailand to see the fans and whatnot. I get that. I see that, but that's organized by them themselves, not by Formula One. Formula One don't do enough to what you say, for the hospitality of these events. How are they supposed to market their Formula One better? You can't just put it on billboards and say we have a race this weekend and whatnot. You're supposed to advertise it weeks in hand. You're supposed to show that there's a race coming up. We've got this and that going on. You know, make the build up to the race exciting. There's no real build up to it. There's no real coverage. There are only Formula One shows on race weekends, not on weekend when there's no racing. There's like, you know how the Premier League has Fan Zone, has all these shows build up to the weekend. We have the content creators talking about Premier League football. There's so much coverage around the Premier League, so much more. Look at the NBA, a lot of coverage. There's a lot of coverage around golf, around the Masters. But I get it. There's not many golf events around the year compared to Formula One, right? Big golf events. I mean, there are a lot of golf events, but I'm talking about big golf events like the Masters. That happens like once a year, right? There's a build up to that. What about race weekends? What about the hospitality in the countries that are fast and approaching? For example, Canada. You know, do like an event midweek before the race, or something. There's not much coverage around that. We don't know much about it. There's Sky Sports Formula One, but they only post stuff on Instagram. I don't see anything about Sky Sports Formula One. We can't see Sky Sports Formula One here because we're in Thailand. There's no Sky Sports here. We see it through Bean Sports because Bean Sports, what do you call it? They advertise, not advertise, but they stream the Sky Sports, right? They stream Sky Sports over here. You see the Sky Sports microphones, you see everything and all that. The same pundits, the same commentary, the same team as Sky Sports. But like I said, Augusti, and I will say it again, they're not marketing it well. They've not been marketing it well for a very long time, and they've gotten away with it too many times now. And you can see the difference. You see the impact that it's made. It's a negative impact. People are starting to tune into that. Bro, where was the hype for this weekend? I've seen no hype for this weekend. I've seen no hype for the Miami Grand Prix. All I saw was, there might be rainfall, race might get cancelled. Bro, come out with some shit that like, you know, that will help fans get over that doubt. There's nothing. Let's be real. Nothing. No coverage, no proper advertisement. All just coverage on race day itself.
Yeah.
That's why people don't get excited for races. Only the top tier of super fans, Formula One fans. We're big fans too, but we want to see some more. You know, obviously we're still waiting for Thailand to have Formula One, and that's been the big rumor for the last year, that Thailand might be hosting a Formula One race. Can't even fucking talk. A Formula One race very, very soon. Tongue twister there. Yeah, they might be hosting a race in like 2028. We can't wait till 2028. Let's bring some coverage to Thailand. We watch Formula One here on a regular basis, but where is the proper event for it? There's nothing, Augusta. I'm gonna say it again. Formula One need to do better for the coverage. Otherwise, people will stop tuning into Formula One. Let's be real. The hype has died down for many years. When Schumacher retired, there was a lot of fans stopped watching. There was no proper coverage around an upcoming driver. There was Lewis Hamilton when he won his first championship. He only made a name for himself when he won his first championship, or when he broke through. Michael Schumacher and his fans left Formula One when he stopped racing. Let's be real. A lot of them left. A lot of them stopped watching because their favorite drivers are gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you. That's a beautiful rant because everything you said is spot on here. Formula One exploded with Drive to Survive when it came to Netflix, when it became more global. You're right, Formula One exploded. There's no doubt about it. But Ekavin, it's growing in a commercial way. It's not growing in a competitive way. Do you get what I mean when I say that? Ekavin, it's growing commercially. It's growing for the celebrities, for like your presidents attending Formula One races, monarchs attending Formula One races. It's not your average person getting involved into Formula One, and it's not growing as much, at least in our inner circles. It's not growing as much as it can. Formula One, there's no reason, guys, why Formula One shouldn't be a top two sport in the world, given the power it has financially. Of course, it's tougher to break into. So if you can't play the sport, many people don't want to watch the sport. But at the same time, kids growing up, they love cars.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
cars are legend. Hey, gave you a shout out earlier, by the way.
Waiting for you, bro. Was waiting for
Yeah,
you.
we've been waiting for you. Formula
Yeah, bro.
One. Yeah, big up. Good to see you here.
Big up to you.
I hope you're well here.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. Don't worry about joining. At least you're tuning in, and at least you're here. Big up to you, my guy.
Yeah, I mean, the fact you commented from outside is more than we can ask for.
Yeah,
but yeah, every kid, almost every guy growing up, many girls growing up as well, they love cars. Whether it's Lightning McQueen, Ka-Chow, Hot Wheels, you know how massive that is. That is universal. That is a global language. That is bigger than language. Formula One is the natural succession. Formula One is the cars that you should keep the imagination, the pace, the fury, the passion. All of that should be channeled into Formula One. There should be a natural succession from, hey, I love cars as a kid, to, hey, I want to keep that interest, because cars is not something not a kiddish thing. It is very technical. It is very intellectual. It is one of the most complicated professions to ever do. Formula One should be that natural step forward. However, it isn't. And that is a problem. And I think what Formula One need to do better is, like we said, integration into lower economically developed communities, pathways to learn, go-karting as well. But above all, like Ekavin said, they need to market themselves here. If you're willing to go to Netflix, Ekavin, they have a deal with Apple TV now. F1 shows it on Apple TV. If you go to Apple TV, Ekavin, you can watch Formula One races. At least I can. I can watch all the races on Apple TV. Maybe because I have an American Apple TV. Take care, brother. See you soon, Kosi.
We're gonna do the race preview tomorrow. So after the after the sprint, what time's the sprint? Is it at 11 in the morning for us tomorrow?
Sprint?
Yeah.
The sprint race is in 30 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
30 minutes.
I literally I lost track.
Yeah, we were the hype, brother. I'm with you.
No pun intended. I lost track of time. No pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. That was a SMW pun. But yeah, I agree with you.
Especially when the qualifiers just happened. You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah, we lost track of time. We didn't even get to that.
I didn't even watch it, bro. I had to
just we missed it because the hype. Too many other things going around. But that goes to your point, Ekavin. Formula One has deals with Apple. They have deals with Netflix. They have deals with major broadcasting, Sky Sports.
Sports is one of the most famous broadcasting channels in the world. We have
exactly. Yet it feels like another program on beIN Sports. It doesn't feel like the program. Yeah, race preview 100%.
So tomorrow tomorrow before the sprint race. So just announce
tomorrow before the actual race.
Before the actual race. Sorry, after the sprint race I can't, but before the sprint race. Yeah, we're doing the sprint race right now preview, and then we're doing the race preview tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. I think tomorrow at 1 at 12 India time. I think we'll do the race preview. 12 a.m. India time.
I think 11.
Or if you want, we can do it tomorrow afternoon even if you like. If you want, we can do it tomorrow afternoon. I'm down. I think tomorrow afternoon.
Well, tomorrow afternoon is safe if you don't want any chaos between the matches between United and F1. But for viewers, But I think if you want to maximize views and entertainment, before the race would be better. So it depends on what you want.
Maybe.
We'll talk about it.
I think tomorrow afternoon we can do the preview.
Oh, sorry. Tomorrow afternoon I can't for sure. I'm going out with my family.
So tomorrow at around midnight India time. So you understand what we're talking about.
Sure. So that's 1:30 a.m. BKK.
Yeah. So before the race, yeah.
What time is the race?
Because you know what? If United beat Liverpool tomorrow, I might shamelessly do it live.
Yeah, you should.
And I'll bring you on for that as well.
Oh, I'm honored.
So
I'm honored.
so yeah, yeah, man.
So I'll be there for that live, and then also then Miami Grand Prix is at 3 a.m. So that's good. Yeah, 1:30
Yeah,
a.m. BKK is good.
we got lots of shows to do. Yeah, 100%.
Nice, nice. That's very, very nice. So we can do that. Cool. And then apart from that, I think they need to market themselves like the product. You know, they're not just
Yes.
another program on BN Sports. It's the product. And the amount they spend on Apple, Netflix, is that spend that money on advertising yourself locally. Social
Mm,
media, even do social media, even do reels, even reach out to people. I know they
yes.
already do it, but they can
Agree.
do it infinitely more. But Formula One's getting bigger. It's getting bigger at the corporate level. It just needs to hit a grassroots level because the bulk of the global population isn't in the West. It's also in the East as well. So reach out in the West locally. Africa. There's so many people you can get from Africa. Africa, where is Africa? Asia, China. China could be a massive market. India could be a massive market as well. So the Middle East is great. They do a fantastic job in the Middle East, in Vegas, in American cities. Even America, they can reach out to certain parts of America that are disenfranchised. So yeah, I think they need to target areas they haven't, lower economic places, and also marketing needs to attract the average person, not the biggest brands.
Mm, 100%. But anyways, I think back to the race
Yep.
this weekend. Final thought. Do you want to give me final thoughts? Or do you want to just close it out now, or do you want to just give your, or do you want to just give your prediction
Predictions?
now? Shall we
Yeah.
just get the prediction? What do you want to say your
Yes.
final thoughts before we go to the sprint predictions?
I don't have anything more to say other than the sprint will be quite revealing. Whatever happens in the sprint race, because the conditions should be similar. Although we're expecting rain tomorrow, we're expecting a bit of rain
That's what
tomorrow.
that's what I was. That's what the question was up in the air because like they were saying that there was going to be rain this weekend. And I think the parents would like
Yeah.
cancel it.
Yes, you were
So
right.
so
Could be
yeah,
that.
I was thinking like could they properly cancel the race like because of the rain? At least we have the sprint race, so they might just. Okay, hopefully there's nothing. Hopefully we do get racing tomorrow, but we'll
Yeah.
see. See definitely. Hopefully it's
I
sunny.
agree. Rain could be a problem. I think if I'm looking at it, 40 minutes to go to it, it will be
I don't
tough.
think
It's the
it'll be a
first time.
problem for me though. I don't think it'll be a problem for me as a Ferrari fan because there's one guy in rain that can strive. So listen, I'm chilling here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Sir Lewis, right? Are we talking about him?
Yeah, of
We talking about
course.
one of the best rain racing drivers ever?
Yeah, hundred
Hell yeah.
percent.
I agree, but I'm looking at it. This is the first. Obviously, this is.
It
Hmm?
benefits me as a Ferrari fan because they're seeing rain. You're seeing a guy who's racing in the rain, who is absolutely king goated at this. You know what I mean?
Who loves the rain.
Yeah, exactly. Who loves the rain? You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Sorry, continue.
But no, I agree with you, Ekevin. So yeah, I think that Ekevin, this is the first time that a Mercedes driver has not started on pole. I think that's going to be something to watch out for. If it's dry conditions, can McLaren keep up? If they don't keep up, can they just win? Can they win with a gap to spare? That's the one thing I'll be looking for. What is the gap between McLaren and Mercedes? Ekevin, that's the one thing I'm looking for.
Mm.
McLaren, Mercedes, the gap. Second, Ferrari. What's up with these race starts? Do we still have them? They made like a bucket load of upgrades. Do they still have the prowess and the power of those race starts? Third, let's see what happens in the midfield. We know Alpine. We know Alpine and the drivers are a bit confident. They have the Mercedes PU. Have they optimized it really well? Racing Bulls don't look too disenfranchised, but of course they still finish low. Red Bull and Racing Bulls both made upgrades as well. That's why I say they don't look too disenfranchised. And what's up with Williams? Williams and James Vowles obviously had a very bad start to the season, weren't ready for the season at all. Did the month off give them some time to recover? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see any major changes. What is the state of the play? And I think the sprint will give us a great indication of that. But rain tomorrow would throw a whirlwind up.
Fair enough, bro. Fair enough.
Prediction?
Anyways, yeah, predictions. Also, when is the French Open? Because that's going to be in like 2 weeks, right? Like, French Open starts in 2 weeks.
Yeah, the French Open is in 2 weeks. It's mid May.
Big
It's yeah,
news.
May 18.
Big news. Alcaraz is not playing in the French Open this year, so a good chance for maybe. I'm not saying it's a bad. I'm not saying Alcaraz out is a good thing at all, but So
No,
it's
but for Djokovic, yeah, selfishly, of course, because if anyone's gonna get the better of Djokovic, it might be Alcaraz at the moment. But then
yeah,
again, we'll talk about it, I'm sure, in another show. But the French
yeah,
Open will be fun. Yannick Sinner will be the heavy favorite to win, of course.
of course. But
But
we'll talk about
from from that to
it.
Miami, top three predictions for the sprint.
Top three predictions. Okay, I'm gonna go with this. I'll go first.
No rain for the sprint, by the way.
Yeah, of course, of course. That's in like 15 minutes, right? Starting like 15, right?
Yep.
Exactly. Um, Norris on pole. He'll win he'll win the sprint.
Okay.
Kimi number two. Who's number three at the moment? Is it
Oscar.
Oscar Piastri? Number four is Leclerc, isn't it?
Yeah. Switcheroo.
Leclerc in fourth. Leclerc in third. No, I don't see it.
Yes.
I think Piastri will stay in third. I think Leclerc will just finish fourth. I think it'll stay the same, bro. To be honest with you.
Yeah,
Unless Piastri has a mishap, then I think Leclerc overtakes him because Leclerc got the fastest free practice time. So I think Leclerc could potentially, because we were promised Leclerc and Hamilton being the fastest cars in the free practice, that were going to be like they're going to have an upgrade going into Miami. Maybe it was just a bad qualifying. Maybe it was just a bad lap. We don't know for sure. But then again, it's about it's how many laps? 19 laps, isn't it, for the sprint?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Always 19. It's always 19 laps. So
it's always 25% race distance, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. So I think no, I'll get to that in just a moment. But yeah, sorry, I don't mean that. Sorry, I meant Leclerc will not finish in the top three. I think Leclerc will finish outside the top three. I think Piastri, unless he has a mishap, Leclerc will finish fourth. Leclerc will finish third, but I don't see it. Norris, Kimi, and Oscar. Just a quick comment from Tifosi here. Just got some free time. I like the previous sprint system where you would have qualifying first and then sprint, so you would have the actual race start. The race, so you start the race actually to do the sprint finish format rather than the qualifying again. Thank you, bro. This we forgot to mention this as well. Why is there an extra qualifying for the race? Why don't you just go off the sprint? It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't, because you've already done the sprint. You've already done one race. Why are you doing another qualifying for another race? It makes no sense. You don't have to make upgrades and whatnot to go to the other race. Just go with the sprint order, and then that gives you points, and then you don't have to qualify because you can do qualifying for the sprint race. If there's no sprint race, why don't you just do actual qualifying for the race itself? Qualifying for the sprint race. The sprint race results will then result in who starts in order from the grid, from the front grid to the back grid of the grid on the actual race. That makes so much more sense than having to fucking wait for another qualifying, which is a huge waste of my time because I have to fucking wait for another qualifying, then do the review, then do the preview. Time zones over here, bro. You know what I mean? Time zones over here is crazy. It's mad. Just like get back to racing tomorrow again, or maybe do like a free practice or something like that later to see who can do well in the race and whatnot. Exactly.
Put it this way.
100%, bro.
Put it this way, guys. I think the drivers would totally agree with you. You get 2 free practice sessions, and then you get more time to understand the car. So I think they would agree with you guys. But at the same time, I'll play devil's advocate. You're probably right. Might be better for the weekend. Might be better for racing, but it is also more fun when you have more action, less free practice time. It is more fun for the fan. So there needs to be a middle ground. I agree. And look, I don't hate the system too much, but you're right. It doesn't optimize the cars enough. So I agree with both of you there, 100%.
Yeah. Or honestly, just go off of order of the table as well. Why do qualifying? Go off the order of the sprint. Go off the order of the table.
Yeah.
You know, whoever's leading the chart starts in front. Whoever's leading the what you call the the middle sector goes into the middle sector. Like for example, Lando Norris was leading the table last year. He goes in front. He starts in front. You know, or maybe do that. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think qualifying is necessary? Because I don't see it. Because you know
No.
why? If you don't qualify for the race, if you make a stupid mistake and you lose, you can't race from the front. You know what I'm trying
That's
to
why
say?
that's why I think qualifying the system, unless we can come up with something significantly better, I think the system is fine because it's 3 rounds. Who has the fastest time? I think it's on merit with pressure, factoring in driver skill and team really, really well. Like it balances all those elements of safety, sustainability, and also speed and skill and success. So I think qualifying, I don't see a reason to change the mechanics of qualifying, but I hear where both of you are coming from with the sprint race, qualifying, double qualifying sessions in a weekend. I hear you. It's a bit redundant. You're right.
Over to you for the predictions. Like
Ooh,
an outsider is obviously like
for my predictions, I would love to be different. I would love to say Charlie Leclerc, but I don't see it. I think over time, even if Leclerc gets above Antonelli, I think Antonelli's car will just recharge and gain speed. Lap 15, overtake him back.
better battery pack. Yeah.
So yeah, I think top three will stay the same. It'll be Oscar, Antonelli, and Lando. Lando will win, but it might be a bit of a battle between Lando and Antonelli at the end of the sprint race.
Wait.
Watch.
You think Oscar's winning the race?
No. Sorry. I meant Oscar in third, Kimi in second, Lando in first.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I went build up.
One from first to third.
No. So and then Lando and Kimi fight off. But Oscar may win, who knows? But Lando and Kimi will fight till the end. What I'm interested in as well is the top 4 to 8. I want to see who gets that the final spot on the point scoring, but also Max, Leclerc, Hamilton, Russell. Where are they at? Russell with Mercedes. Miami is not a track he's been notoriously good at anyways. So him not being on pole is not a surprise. But if he stays 6th place with the pace advantage Mercedes has, that means that Mercedes stood still. All the other teams have caught up to them. Max, how good is the Red Bull? Like, even if it was a few weeks ago, Max would be going back really quickly. He wouldn't be up there at all. But if they've improved, he would be staying up there. And the Ferraris, can they make up gains like they did? And can they keep those gains? Or are they going to be a midfield team? That's what I'm more interested in. I think 4 to 8. Of course, I'm most interested in the winner, but still that.
Ferrari might as well not race.
Yeah.
Well, what a waste of my fucking time watching them stink the gaff out every single week. You know. Anyways, I also do want to make one point. Just one more point. And it's something about what I suggest. I just think the sprint races have been a success, though, so far, in my opinion. Because over time, battery pack starts to die down, right? You start to see drivers pull away. You start to see, teams, all of a sudden just run away with the win. For example, Kimi in the last 2 weeks has run away with the victory quite easily, quite comfortably. Whereas with 19 laps, you get a very short span of racing. You actually see back and forth places swap. You actually see swapping places. You actually see Lando and Kimi, and then you actually see Oscar going for it, like in the first 10 laps. Like you actually see proper racing until like the 15th lap. Like in the short span of time, it's good. It's good for that. But for the durability, for the longer term, for the longer part of the race, it'll get boring because one car will just easily have the better battery and just pull away, and just comfortably win the race by a country mile, and that's what bores everyone. Whereas with sprint racing, you have a short period of racing to see who can actually get to that number 1 spot. So the top 3 was battle it out, and who knows, maybe Leclerc just goes straight up to first, just like that. With a sprint race, you never know. But with the race, you just know you might know what's gonna happen, right? Because the sprint race is, I will say it again, short span. The race will have many more laps to determine who will finish where and whatnot. Because with the sprints, everyone's so close to each other, with not many laps, So that's what I think. At least the product of the sprint races have been all right. But with the races, yeah, count me out. That's what I personally think. I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you. I think I actually don't have much to add there. Yeah, you said it best.
Cool.
You really
Anyways,
did.
guys. Huh? Sorry?
You really did. I agree with you. You're right about the sprint races. It's a good autopsy. Sure.
No worries, man. No worries. Big up to Fosi in the chat. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. 5 more subs, guys. Come on. Let's get there by tonight. 5 more subs to go, people. You know, it's that simple. Let's get to 5. Let's get to 600, and let's cross that line. You know, before the cars due tomorrow, or in a few minutes. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed, do subscribe. Like the video as well. It's important you like the video. Share it and leave a comment in the chat. I'll get to your comments. Leave your opinions in the chat. Keep it respectful as always. I'll read out your comments. And make sure you guys tune into the next upcoming shows. I will have it scheduled very, very soon. People, it's been a good discussion, good preview, good first show back, which what feels like not even a Formula One race weekend, but it is a race weekend. We are going to get to the sprint in just a moment, so stay tuned. Enjoy the sprint race. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys very, very soon.
Deuces. Lando Norris.
Last
Yep. Lando Norris back on top of Formula One. Deja vu.
Cool. There you go. There you have it, people. What he said. Anyways, Forza Ferrari. Like, share, subscribe.